It was March the 15th, 2020, when everything shifted. We'd been learning about COVID for a couple of months, and we had been wondering how it would affect our community. By early March, it was clear that COVID was in America and was spreading quickly. And on March the 15th, 2020, the schools shut down, and the office here closed, and everything moved virtual. And that is 3 years ago this week. I remain very proud of how our community has responded to COVID over the last 3 years. In those immediate weeks that followed, Joy, as the Director of Education, as she was then, helped create some online learning sessions. Rabbi Nachum created some online learning sessions according to his book that he had written. And Rabbi Jenny and I were leading services to an empty room, to a single screen. And we produced educational materials and pastoral support for everyone as the world dramatically changed. Over the months, it became clear that it wasn't clearing up, and so we had our first socially distanced High Holy Days, which was an extraordinarily lonely experience, but I think a very, very powerful experience of us still being able to gather together. And it was an extraordinary time to lead those services as I was clicking to let people in while clicking to change the slides and making sure the sound was okay. It was truly an extraordinary time. And we started studying, what does it mean to be together and not together? I bought a book, Torah in a Time of Plague, and we started to explore what pandemics are like and what communal illness is like in the Jewish community, in halakha, in particular in Jewish law. And as time went on, we formed the COVID Response Committee. And it was originally called the Reopening Committee because our hope had been, well, it's nearly over now, and it was in 2021, I believe, that we formed that committee to say, how do we start coming back? What can we reopen? And that reopening committee helped us come back to services in person and helped us work out how to do it so that we could be safe. And in the last 2 years, that committee, now the COVID Response Committee, continually informs us through an application of science and through studying what is happening in the world, what is happening in Santa Fe, and what is happening in our community. And I really do want to express an enormous debt of thanks to the members of the COVID Response Committee, because the number of cases in our community has been kept very low, especially compared with some other faith communities. And the number of incidents of COVID in our temple has been extremely low. And that is especially due to the work of the COVID Response Committee. So I do want to profoundly thank them. We meet every 2 weeks and we discuss and we change and we adapt and we balance those who want to reopen and those who want to remain closed, and we balance all our needs to work it out. We're now 3 years into COVID, and we really thought at the beginning, we were really hoping this would be over in a few months. And I don't know why. I think we were being very optimistic and perhaps a bit naive. This was before the committee was even formed. That we thought, well, it'll be over by the end of the summer or something like that. And that summer, interestingly, in 2020 and 2021, we did an extraordinary thing, which was it takes a village. Because we knew that there were families who had hoped that their kids would be going to different activities over the summer. And we ended up providing activities from our community members. Extraordinary Zoom activities, from drama to pottery to miniatures painting to cooking to bird watching. It was really quite extraordinary. And so I remain really very proud of our community. Once we realized that this was going to go on much longer than we had originally hoped. And pandemics do take years. They really do. Often 4 years or more. So what does it mean for us to be here on the 3-year anniversary? Well, our temple has moved from the immediate crisis response and how do we help hold everyone together to how do we help people, how do we help members of our community who have been profoundly affected by COVID, who have been feeling that they are lonely or isolated? How do we help the members of our community who are now essentially totally housebound because of COVID? How do we help the members of our community who have become disabled by long COVID? What does that mean for us as a community? And so we're really moving into the mental health aspects of COVID as well. And that's why I've also bought a number of books on pandemics and illness and mental health so that we can help support our members as best as possible. And so this is a moment for us to pause, a moment for us to really reflect on how we have got through the last 3 years, on how we've been able to do it together as a community, on how our community has grown during that time. And I will share that there have been times in my rabbinate, not so much here, but there have been times, especially in my early rabbinate, that I thought, what's the point of all this? What's the point of gathering together in community? Can't we just do our Judaism by ourselves? It's during COVID, especially COVID in Temple Beth Shalom, that I've never asked that question. Because our community has helped hold so many people. And that's thanks to all of the staff and all of the volunteers and all of the members who have been able to come together over the last 3 years and say, this is what Judaism is about. It's about community. It's about when things are tough, when times are really difficult, we turn around and we say, we are here for each other. And I truly believe that's why our community has grown during COVID, because we have been loving, caring, supportive, educational, pastoral, really there for each other. So my sermon this evening is a review of the last 3 years of COVID and what it means for us physically, spiritually, and communally. And I encourage you to join us for that service as well as all our other activities this weekend. So thank you. Thank you to the COVID Response Committee, and thank you to the members of our community for supporting each other so well. Thank you especially to our staff and our board and volunteers who have helped keep the temple running through 3 extraordinary years of COVID. Things are changing, things are moving, and hopefully we'll be able to be together even more and celebrate together even more, especially with our Seder, our communal Seder, coming up. We had a communal Seder last year, we have another one this year. We expect it to be very busy, very full, and we encourage you to look out for all the information about that. So thank you again to our staff, to our volunteers, to our board members, and to everyone who has kept us safe during COVID. And please come and join us for this weekend for our Kabbalat Shabbat service, for Torah study, and Shabbat Shacharit especially. I wish you Shabbat Shalom.